And good evening, Mountaineers. We are back at Ringo's on the River for the Schreiner Coaches Show. We do this every Wednesday, and you know where Ringo's is. It's right there on Junction Highway next to the AT&T store. And come on by. They've got dollar wings while we are here. The Mountaineer Burger is on the menu, and we're going to be talking to several coaches as we go along. My name is Ted Davis, the voice of the Schreiner Mountaineers, and Keith Allen, head football coach, is with us. A couple of things to recommend. If you come in here, try the cheese curds, okay? I know, okay. Already an endorsement on cheese curds.
There you go.
I know we love French fries here in Texas, but I spent 24 years in Wisconsin. I had never had a curd till I went to Wisconsin. The best curds were from Culver's, and they're here now. But I'm telling you, the curds right here at Ringo's are fantastic. So, in fact, I ate nothing but French fries and curds before the game.
There you go.
Now I'm kind of sleepy. How do you like our booth, huh?
It's a little different. I like it, getting used to the more elbow room.
This kind of reminds me of an old diner.
Yes.
Or maybe a scene from Happy Days.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Happy Days. This is that corner booth that, Fonz would go to.
Fonzie may have sat here. For you young people, Happy Days was a television show.
They have no idea.
That was on for, a long time. It was a spinoff of a movie called American Graffiti.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. It was a spinoff of that. And American Graffiti is notable for giving a very prominent actor his first big break, Harrison Ford.
Really?
Who later, of course, became Indiana Jones and Han Solo. He was in American Graffiti. And, of course, out of the Happy Days came one of the most iconic characters in the history of television, which was Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So, anyway, we're in this booth in the corner, and I want you to notice, they moved the camera. Over my right shoulder is a Texas Tech Patrick Mahomes jersey. Oh, you got it there? There it is.
Yeah.
Guns up, Raiders. I grew up in Lubbock, where we had a saying in the 60s and 70s that one day we were going to have a football team that the band could be proud of.
There you go.
And now they're undefeated with finally a defense. If only Patrick Mahomes had that defense when he was there, they would have been something. But anyway, Texas Tech is rolling. They'll play Arizona State this weekend, Saturday afternoon. I'll be there watching the ball game. The football team did not play this past weekend, so you had a bye week. So how did you handle that?
Well, so, we practiced till Friday, gave our kids off because it's fall break for your Shriners. So we gave our kids off of a 4-day weekend. So we gave them off Friday, basically we lifted. They had Friday off, Saturday off, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This morning was the first time we've seen them since Friday morning. So they're well rested and ready to get, chomping at the bit, ready to go to the next game. So now we got a game this Monday at Howard Payne. So we're excited to see another American Southwestern Conference foe.
3 games left. You mentioned at Howard Payne on Monday. November 1 at Texas Spartans, and then November 10th at Hardin-Simmons, which I would imagine also has a very good JV team, don't they?
Yeah, so we've seen them because they've already played Mary Hardin-Baylor before we played Mary Hardin-Baylor, and they've played Texas Lutheran. So just like everybody else, they're well coached at this level, and they do a great job. So, we're just excited about the 3 opportunities we have, but right now we're just really excited about, tomorrow's practice and the opportunity we have this next Monday.
You were not playing last weekend, but you went to a football game.
Yeah, so
you went to Abilene to watch that American Southwest Conference showdown between Hardin-Simmons and Mary Hardin-Baylor. And I looked at the score today, and it wasn't much of a showdown. 34-7, Hardin-Simmons with them.
And the 7 points was 2 minutes at the end of the game. So, no, we went down there. Our administrative team when we got hired and they made the announcement we were joining the ASC conference. I was able to put on our cabinet schedule, let's go to the Hardin-Simmons, Mary Hardin-Baylor's game to see what the 2 top teams in the conference look like. From, between the lines on the field and how a university runs a full production of a football program, of a football game. Because there's a lot of opportunities. We've said this before, I believe, on this show, but you have 5 opportunities with football games. You have 5 home opportunities that you use as a recruiting tool, not only for student athletes, but for fans, for boosters, for board of trustees.
And for students.
For alumni, students.
Just regular students.
Everybody.
Yep.
So you have 5 opportunities. So it's a production. It's an entertainment show, and you've got to have it. You have be well choreographed. You have to have it well staffed. What are we going to do? Who are we going to introduce? What's the halftime performance look like? What's pregame look like? What are we going to say between first quarter and second quarter? What are we going to do between second, half and third and fourth? And what are we going to do post-game? How are we going to get recruits on the field? All these things that have nothing to do with the X's and O's, which is what I do, right? And so our administrative team went down there, I guess up there, and I tell you what, the people at Hardin-Simmons, Mayor Hardin-Baylor were fantastic. Their presidents and their athletic directors were open books, answering any questions we had. But I believe it was fairly eye-opening to a lot of people on our team.
There's a whole operation called Game Ops.
Yes.
And every team has it. We had it in the major leagues. And it's all the stuff that you see between timeouts and everything else. And there's a lot of work that goes into that.
You have to choreograph all that. The fan experience has to be something worth repeating. And that goes from concession stands to parking to security to the giveaways that they're going to throw into the stands to the kiss cam. Everything that you could possibly do has to be choreographed and scripted and manned and operated. So there's a lot of parts. There's a lot of moving parts that a lot of people don't realize in college game day experience, even at the Division III level.
You're doing a lot of recruiting right now. I mean,
yes.
Your guys are out every weekend looking at high school games all over Texas.
Correct.
And we talked about this before. It's great if you can get kids from out of state who want to come here, but heck, you can just recruit Texas and be fine here.
You could honestly recruit just between Austin, San Antonio, and Houston and have enough great players to fill your roster.
Right.
So obviously we're going to expand south to Cahalan, to Corpus Christi. We're going to go west as far as we can go. We're going to hit the kids in Permian, Odessa. We're going to go as far north as we can that way. Not too worried about the Dallas area because there's a lot of schools between us and Dallas, but Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Hill Country, South Texas, you're talking probably over 600 schools in that area alone. And so there's plenty of prospects for us to find the right fit for us.
Keith Allen, head football coach, has joined us on the Schreiner Coaches Show. Again, we're at Ringo's, right on the river here in Kerrville, and we'll be here until 8 o'clock. We're doing this every Wednesday during the football program. When your coaches go look for a high school team, I've said this before, the guys who have Division I talent, they just jump off the field.
Right.
What are your guys looking for?
Well, we're still looking for playmakers at different abilities.
Yeah.
Maybe guys that don't have just, maybe they're an inch too short, maybe they're just a little bit too slow, maybe they're a little too light, maybe a little too heavy. Maybe they're out of position a little bit because of the necessity of their high school coach. But we're looking for what we call OKGs, our kind of guys. Kids that want to get better, kids that love the game of football, kids that are going to be good model citizens and want to get a college degree. When we talk to recruits, we talk about the perfect fit. And there's over 2,400 universities, brick and mortar universities you could choose in the United States. Well, if you want to play football, that number changes to 740. So then you got to look, okay, what do I want from my fit? So we talk about the perfect fit. Number one, it's got to be the right fit spiritually. And we're right there in the middle. We're Presbyterian, so we're not where you have to go to chapel every week. You don't have to take any Bible classes here. So we're going to meet those kids spiritually where they're at. The second fit is socially. Well, we're in a small town with a small town feel close to a big city. So if those kids want the big school atmosphere, we're not going to be a good fit for them. Mm-hmm. So as you're going through those fits out of the 740 schools, you can start narrowing things out. Is it a good fit spiritually? Is it a good fit socially? If it's a good fit academically, is the next one. Well, we have great nursing program, great business program, aviation program. So we have so many offerings that it's hard not to be a good fit there. And then finally, the good fit athletically and then financially.
You really don't know what's going to happen until you get players and they start practicing and then you play games. Has anything surprised you so far?
Well, just the cohesiveness, and we've said this before, but just how they're coming together as a team. We have individuals standing out day in and day out. We have kids making plays that we thought, he looks really good at high school player, but wow, he's coming along. Yeah. We're pretty proud of a lot of our players. I hate to name them by names because if I don't name them all, somebody gets upset. But
and you've got 100 of them.
Well, but at the end of the day, it's just seeing these kids come together and perform. You know, our defense was a bend but don't break, and you know, we've had different people on the show that have showcased different games, and that says a lot about the team when every week we can bring different players that were players of the game, and it's not the same two kids every week. It means, you know, it's really a team effort to win games. So it's really great to see that.
Okay, anything that you say, okay, this is really what we need to improve on, we need to focus on this, is there anything that popped up?
In season, it's just understanding what we're trying to accomplish. As we move forward, moving into the ASC, we've got to get bigger, faster, and stronger. Our O-line and D-line need to mature a lot. So how do you mature them? Well, you work out with them in the off season, you recruit the best kids you can at the high school level to push them, and then you recruit some transfers. So to compete at the ASC with the big boys, with the Mary Hardin Baylors and the Hardin Simmons, we've got to get bigger and stronger and more mature at the offense and defensive line.
By the way, I was talking to Athletic Director Bill Raleigh before the show, and I didn't know that the schedule is actually out for next year. You know who you're going to play.
Oh, yeah, I worked really, really hard when I got here to secure the 25 schedule, and then to get the 26 and 27 schedule, because what you do is you're going to work in 2 years groupings, home and away, or I always said home and home. And we were just waiting for the ASC to finalize their schedule. But we had our 5 non-conference games already taken care of.
Well, your opener is going to be against Austin College.
Yep.
It's going to be at home.
Yes, sir.
Early September next year. Looking forward to that. That'll be at Antler Stadium.
Yeah, we are looking forward to that. And so next year we have 5 home games, and that's the first one. So we get to see how we match against those other teams pretty quick.
You mentioned the offseason program. Eddington has to help, right? The new building.
100%. I mean, within that complex, we have our locker room, 120 lockers.
Yeah.
Brand new facility. We got the laundry room working, so we can do their laundry immediately. Coaches' offices, meeting rooms, and then obviously the 5,000 square foot weight room that rivals any Division III program. And we've got a ton of room to build it out, however we see fit.
Now, once the season is over, will you have like a spring football season and a spring football game?
So we're allowed 16 opportunities. We won't go against anybody outside of our team, but we'll have a spring game where it'll be our maroon versus white, and we'll have 15 opportunities. So we will get after it again in the spring, but the main thing is we're going to be lifting and conditioning. We're doing a lot of strength and conditioning with our student athletes, kind of stay on them with their grades as my coaching staff's out recruiting. And then in the spring, after spring break, we'll have our 16 opportunities to get better at the game of football again.
When's signing day?
First Wednesday of February. I believe it's February 5th this year.
Yeah. When you're not coaching, what do you like to do? I know coaching is all consuming, so
I really honestly just hanging out with my wife. Every now and then we like to go on big vacations. A couple of years ago, we did a 12-day safari in Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
South Africa and all the little countries north of this, the ones right north to it that all
the ones I can't name.
Zambia, Nambia, and a couple of others.
All the Bias?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so what was your highlight of that? Did you go? What animals did you see?
Oh, we saw them all the big fives, what they call them out there, the predatory animals. So we got on a hot air balloon over a preserve. Okay, so that means you're safe, right? And so
well, presumably, as long as you stay in the air.
Right. So, but we missed some landing spots.
Okay.
And so we're fixing to go over the electric fence into the unknown.
Oh, and what's in the unknown?
Nothing's tagged, so it's gonna be all the animals.
Wow.
Nobody's there to protect you because you're not in a preserve anymore. And our pilot was at first wasn't worried too much, and then all of a sudden he's on the radio starting to talk to people, and you see these Jeeps come out of nowhere, and then we're dropping ropes, and so they pull the hot air balloon down right at the electric fence, like the top of the hot air balloon gets shredded. We land sideways on the hot air balloon. And the guy was telling us, he's like, if they did not get this done, if we did not pull us down, it would have taken at least 4 hours for them to come get us.
Oh, my God.
Because they would have had to go an hour and a half around the preserve and then 2 hours into the unknown.
Yeah.
Well, and I was laughing the entire time. I thought it was awesome.
You saw elephants and everything?
Saw elephants, giraffes, you name it. It was definitely a bucket list thing. So we like to travel. If we're not, my wife's like me, we're type A people, so we're at our job. We're doing our job 100% of the time. So I drove my son up here earlier today, and we were talking. So I was a high school coach for exactly 12 years.
Okay.
When he got into first grade, and then when he graduated. As soon as he graduated, I went back into college.
Yeah.
And part of that's because as a college coach, it's all encompassing because you're talking to recruits all the time.
Uh-huh.
So when my son got into first grade, my wife said, do you want to be a coach or a dad? And I was like, well, I guess I want to be a dad, you know.
Yeah.
And so we made a decision to go the high school route. So for those 12 years, I was either a high school head coach or, you know, I worked for Shane Hallmark at Klein. But when James was a senior this time last year, Melissa tells me, you can go back to college.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, done.
And this opened up?
And this opened up. And
some things are kind of meant to be, aren't they? They come together at the same time.
You know, it's you know, God's hands in everything we do, I believe.
Yeah.
And, you know, look at my coordinators. I would have never met Shane Hallmark if he didn't hire me at Klein High School when we moved to Houston.
Yeah.
I would have never met David Jones if he didn't join the cohort that I was in with the offensive style that I was running.
Yeah.
So he joined the cohort, so I got to share with him, so I got to know him. And then, you know, this job opened up, and he was in a position where he was ready to retire from Tybee, and Shane's ready to retire from Klein.
And you talked them out of it.
And I talked them both out of retirement. And here's the funny thing: they both have seniors. At the time, that we all had senior boys.
Yeah.
Shane and David both had twins.
Yeah.
And you know, here we are. And you know, it's amazing how those things work. And again, hiring a lot of my coaches that play, they're, you know, either they played for me or their dads and I coached together.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those things you look back and you're like, well, maybe God's plan is working.
I can say that I would not have had the Major League Broadcasting career that I had if I hadn't met a man named Bill Mercer, who was a teacher at North Texas State at the time. And then I got to know him, and he opened a lot of doors for me. Now, you have to have the talent. You got to be ready when the door opens. But if I had not met Bill Mercer, I'm not sure I would have had a 37-year career in the NBA. And so it's just who you meet, and then you've got to take advantage of it.
It's you know, it's the path, and I believe this is what I was telling my student athletes the other day was, there's a reason we're all here at Schreiner University. Yeah. There's a reason you are in this meeting right now. You know, there's a reason we're here together. And the biggest thing we got them to know is, you're one question away. That's what I try to tell them. You're one question away. So if me and you meet in an elevator, we're in somewhere together, and we don't open up a conversation, I miss an opportunity that the door may open, that you know somebody that helps me get to the next stage.
Yeah.
And so
I've already given you a lead on a couple of football players that I hope you look at.
Yeah,
because I'm doing high school games every weekend.
And you know, as a coach, you've got to be. You're always selling. You know, ABS, always be selling, or always be closing is what they say. But you have to be in that position where you're looking for the next opportunity, and it doesn't mean the next job per se, but the next friendship, the next relationship, because you're one relationship away from the next big opportunity. You're one. You know, the other thing I tell the kids all the time is, you know, one key unlocks the castle. Yeah. You just got to find the right key, and then the castle gets unlocked. Yeah. But you never know if you're not willing to go out there and, you know, and try and, you know, maybe fail, but you have to get out there and go. But yeah, my coaching career is probably a lot like yours when we talked in the past, just how things have worked out. Maybe not the way I thought they should, but there was a reason I was at this school for that amount of time. There's a reason I was at this school for that amount of time. I learned what I needed to for the next journey.
Yeah, yeah. Your son is here.
Yes.
And he's a student coach.
Yes.
We're going to talk to him in a minute.
Okay. He's
so
excited.
We're going to go from Keith Allen to James Allen.
Yeah, there you go.
And we'll be talking to him. We're at Ringo's, and a little bit later, we're going to be talking to Jeremiah Tiffin, the volleyball coach. His team is off to a great start. 15-4, 7-1 in conference play.
Amazing.
They split a couple of games this weekend, very tough games against Colorado College and St. Thomas. Beat Colorado College, lost to St. Thomas in 5. And then later we'll hear from Darren Bauer, the men's soccer coach. Keith Allen has joined us. This is the Coaches Show here at Ringo's. Back after this on the Schreiner Sports Network. All right, we're back at Ringo's here in Kerrville. Ringo's on the River, the Schreiner Coaches Show. It's good to see all the wait staff wearing maroon today. They've got Schreiner t-shirts on. A lot of members of the board of directors are here, so I'd like to welcome them. The food here at Ringo's is always good. They've got dollar wings until we're done at 8 o'clock tonight. I mentioned the volleyball team. They will play a game at Concordia on Saturday. Got that 15-4 record, 7-1 in conference play. Then they have 2 games coming up later in the month, and these are going to be big. Colorado College, St. Thomas, here in Kerrville, October 31st at the Sports Event Center, and then November 1 will be the 2 games. After that, they'll have 1 more regular season game, and then the SCAC Conference Basketball Tournament this season will be hosted by Schreiner. So the top 6 teams are going to compete right here in Kerrville at the event center on November 14th and 15th. There'll be 4 games on November 14th, and then the championship game on November 15th. Schreiner has a great chance to be there. They'll have home court advantage, and we encourage you to get out for that on November 14th and 15th, and then again the home games on October 31st and November 1. The 31st game, the Halloween game, is against Colorado College. 2 days later on Sunday, they play St. Thomas, so that'll be coming up. James Allen has joined us, the son of Keith Allen, the football coach. How are you?
I'm fantastic today.
You're a student coach now, so what are your responsibilities during the season?
So I'm up in the box during the games, and I write down the plays that we're doing, basically play scripts, stuff like that. And then when we get back from the halftime, I tell Coach Jones what we're seeing up in the box. Basically safeties coming up, linebackers tells, stuff like that kind of.
So you do a lot of film work?
Would you repeat that, sir?
Do you do a lot of film work?
Yes, sir. I watch a lot of film.
There are some very good NBA coaches who started in the film room. Eric Spoelstra at Miami, Mike Budenholzer at San Antonio, who was the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks when we won the championship, and that's a great place to learn, because you learn what the coach wants, and you have to break down the film and give it to him. That's really your job, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It's more on like game day. I watch during the week, and then once you can see when safeties are coming down. A lot of linebackers have obvious tells, like when they're blitzing, stuff like that.
You grew up around football?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your dad was a coach the entire time you were growing up. So what was it like being a coach's kid?
Oh, I loved it. I loved being around the game. The game's given me a lot. It's given me a lot of friends. But I blew out my knee junior year of high school, so my playing career was over. But then I got the opportunity to not have it finish and come coach with my dad and learn from him and his coaching staff, and I jumped at the bit, and I'm loving it ever since.
You want to be a coach? Is that in your future?
Yes, sir. I'm thinking about it, that or an agent.
Your dad hasn't talked you out of it yet, because there are a lot of highs and lows in coaching, man. I'm telling you.
Trust me, I know. I've been around it for 19 years. So.
Now you're a student here at Schreiner.
Yes, sir.
Too.
I am.
You're a freshman.
Yes, sir.
Your thoughts on being at Schreiner and what you've seen so far?
I love it. It really just feels like home. The community is so inviting, and everyone's so accepting of who you are and where you're at. And it just feels like home, and everyone's just super kind. It really just is a good, tight-knit community.
James Allen is our guest, the student coach and the son of the head coach, Keith Allen. What's your major?
Right now, it's sports management, but I might be switching to finance.
You grew up in the Houston area.
Well, I originally grew up in Florida, but I graduated in the Houston area.
In the Houston area. You've been living in the Houston area before you came here.
Yes, sir.
Life's a little slower in Kerrville.
A lot slower, yes, sir.
So what's your favorite class so far?
That's hard. I really like my freshman studies class, because I really like my professor, Mr. Rossi.
Every student that I have seen at Kerrville likes the fact that the class sizes are small.
Yes.
And you have a lot of contact with your teachers, with your professors. Has that been the case for you?
Yes, sir. I have learning disabilities, so it's really been really helpful to have the small class sizes. That's really been helpful for me.
Monday, another football game. You're looking forward to that. You're going to Brownwood.
Yes, sir, I will be there.
Well, they play at 5 p.m. on Monday. And James, thank you for talking to us.
Yes, sir.
Good luck on your freshman season. And before you know it, freshman year will be over and you'll be a sophomore.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing how time marches on. All right, James Allen has been with us. Jared is celebrating a baseball home run over there. Who hit that? Mariners? Okay. Mariners have never made the World Series. Never. They're the only team in the major leagues that have not made the World Series. And here they are, they got a chance. James, thank you. We'll be talking to Jeremiah Tiffin in just a moment. We mentioned the volleyball team is off to a 15-4 start. It's the best start in school history. They are 7-1 in conference play. And if you look at the conference standings right now, in the division that the Mountaineers are in, you've got St. Thomas at 7-1, Schreiner is at 7-1, and then Colorado College is at 5-3. In the other division, Hendrix is 7-1, Laterno is 5-3, and Austin College is 5-3. Right now, those would be the top 6 teams that would qualify for that SCAC volleyball tournament that will be played here on November 14th and 15th. Very quickly, the men's soccer team will play at Concordia along with the women's team this weekend, and then they'll play at Texas Lutheran on Sunday. And then basketball will be starting very quickly. Men's and women's basketball starting on November 7th when they have a game at Howard Payne. I'm Ted Davis. We'll talk to Jeremiah Tiffin right after this on the Schreiner Sports Network.
We compete with the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association, and the concept of that is that when we go to a competition, we do catch riding. So we draw a horse that the girls have never ridden, and they have to jump on that horse. They've never got to practice with it, and then they go straight into the ring and have to compete on it. When we're competing, the girls compete in hunt seat equitation over fences and hunt seat on the flat, and they are primarily being judged on how good they look on the horse and how effective they are. One of our most exciting accomplishments is this last year, both a couple of girls from our English team made it to semifinals, and then we also had a girl that qualified for semifinals on the Western team. With the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association, we accept riders of all levels of ability, so you can be a brand new beginner rider that's had no experience with riding, or you can be a pretty established rider that competes high up. We are open to having all levels of riders included.
Campus. My name is Ted Davis. We are joined today by Jeremiah Tiffin, head volleyball coach here at Schreiner University, now in his 4th season. Are you having fun this year?
Having a lot of fun. Yeah, it's been a blast so far.
You know, remember in Bull Durham when Nukes LaLoosh was being taught, how to talk to the press? Mm-hmm. And he said, winning. It's like more fun than losing.
All the cliches, right?
All the cliches. Yeah. It's like winning is more fun than losing. You are on a 9-game winning streak as we sit down to do this. And you've really been dominant. 11 of your 14 wins have been straight set wins, 3-0. So what does that tell you about your team?
I think we have an older, mature team this year with great leadership. And so they know how to prepare, and they know how to attack games early on, and that every point's important. And so, like last week, we went to Southwestern. Always a good team, always a well-coached program. And we swept them. But every set was a 2-point set. I think there was 3 points was the most. And we were down in the first set. We were down 15-11. But it's play Schreiner volleyball, stay focused, and they didn't panic, and there's no roller coasters. And when you have no roller coasters, it's a nice smooth ride. And that's what we've been on these past couple weeks.
I talked to a couple of your players just a few moments ago, in fact. Ashlyn Wilburn, a freshman, and Gianna Hilliard, now a junior. And they talked about what you do in practice, where the game's 20-20, and you got to get to 25. And that is very important to know how to finish games, isn't it?
What they didn't tell you is, so it's regular volleyball, but once you get 23 points, if you don't win 2 in a row, you get reset to 20.
Okay.
And so that's a game that could take 2 minutes, but I've also done it where it's taken 45 minutes to get a winner.
Yeah.
And it's just, you have to grind, you have to work, you have to understand, what you can do. And one of the things this team does really well is, as we're top 25 in the country in hitting percentage. That's where you want to be. You cannot make it to the NCAA tournament and be successful unless you have a high hitting percentage.
Right.
And usually the national champions come from top 10 in the country. And so we're 25th, which is just a marked difference from where we were previously.
And first in the conference.
Yeah. And that's not because we're getting more kills than everybody else. We're second in kills. Hendrix is ahead of us. It's because we're making smarter, mature decisions on when we can swing and when we need to put the ball in play. And there is a difference between those two things. And it just goes to the maturity that they show in practice, and it carries over into the games. And we've had this conversation of, we played a game a few weeks ago and we said, hey, was this easier than our practices? And they said, yes. And that's the goal. If we can have our practices at that high intense level, the games take care of themselves.
How do you train for volleyball? I know when I was playing basketball, we would run lines. When I was running track, we would run 220s. How do you train for volleyball? It's such a short, burst of energy, but you have to do it a lot. How do you train?
So we're a little bit different in that we don't sprint in practice.
Okay.
We don't do punishments for drop balls. We don't do anything like that. Our punishment is talking about it and figuring it out and moving on. So I don't believe in that kind of negative punishment that way. We train, our drills are very fast paced. Okay. And so like today we were doing a drill where our outside's working on transition swings, and it was swing, it was dig, swing, boom, next ball in. So at the most, we were between a second to a second and a half with nothing going on. Yeah. And so when you're training, to get technical, when you're training anaerobically like that, that kind of leads in over into games, because volleyball is almost a purely anaerobic sport.
You've got a lot of players playing well. Gianna Hilliard is in her junior year. She plays all the time.
She does,
for you. Has she improved her game?
100% she's improved her game. She is much more consistent than she was last year. She's touching more volleyballs in the back row, but I think most importantly, her passing has improved. And that's been the biggest difference for her from her sophomore year to junior year. And you can see it in her career taking steps. It's that first year, play front row only, be awesome. Second year, you're going to play all 6 rotations and learn how to be awesome. And now this year, she is awesome. Not that she ever wasn't, but now she's showing it on the court, and she's continuing to keep her hitting where it has been and improving that. But now defensively and serve receive-wise, she's just taking that next step.
You've got 2 left-handers, and that's been to your advantage. It's Ashlyn Wilburn, who we talked to, a left-hander, Jesse Garner. Then on the other side, you got Gianna, who's a right-hander, and Mackenzie Sturban, who's a right-hander. Yeah. What's the difference in having a lefty and a righty?
So it allows us, we're better in out of system because of that, because it's easier, and most people agree with it, it's easier to hit a ball when it's coming towards you. It's harder to hit a ball when it's coming from behind you. Yeah. And so when you get into out of system stuff, a lot of those balls are coming from off the net, those sets. And for righties that play right side, you're looking over your shoulder a little bit and having to track that. Well, now with our lefties, that ball's coming to them, and I think they can be more consistent putting that ball in play. So having those, just the righties on the outside and the lefties on the right side, I know that makes no sense. Volleyball's absurd. It really helps us just be more consistent.
But it's such a team. I like watching your team because Jenna Palmerez is there to dig it out.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
And you got your setters that set it up, and they have to set it up just right. And if they don't do it, the kill shot isn't there. It really is a sequence, isn't it?
It is, and it's just it's a whole team thing. I mean, we've got Jenna, who's been a 3-year starting libero, and just like she really kept us in a game last week, and our offense wasn't clicking as much as we wanted it to be, but she was digging everything in sight, and it really helped us out. Harley was named setter of the week in the conference this past week. It's the first time we've ever received that award.
And Gianna got player of the week a couple of weeks ago.
Offensive player of the week. It's the first time Schreiner has ever received that award. And it's not just because they're good players, and they are. It's because everybody's putting them in the best position. Harley can't set unless she's getting digs or passes. Jenna can't dig unless our block is where it needs to be. Gianna can't swing unless the ball's getting to her. So volleyball is just that full team thing. There's not that time where it's like in basketball, it's the end of the shot clock. It's the end of the game. I can go one-on-one because I'm the best player. We don't have that in volleyball. You are dependent on your teammates, and it just shows the strength of our team.
Jeremiah Tiffin, volleyball coach, has joined us here on Sit Down. Your conference is tough.
It is.
Especially in your division. You've got the toughest division.
Yeah, I think from top to bottom, yes.
So as we're recording this, you're about to play on the road against Colorado College in St. Thomas. I know as a coach, you want that challenge, right? I mean, you want to know where we are. That's a report card.
We want to play tough teams. Playing teams that are a little bit, weaker in some areas is always fine. Like we can work on some different things, but we relish the competition. And so now we're going to Colorado. I don't believe we've ever beaten Colorado. Since I've been here, we've never beaten Colorado. And so this is a big challenge for us is, can we go on the road, to altitude to play a team that has been consistently good for years, and they're going to be well coached. Sharon does a great job with them. Is can we win that? And then can we turn around and fly to Houston and beat a St. Thomas team that's just been rolling through everybody? Just, I know they've got one loss at Colorado, but they're beating everybody they should be beating. They're a really good team, and so we're going to know how good we are after this weekend.
One of the players we talked to that we ran on the coaches show that we do Wednesday at Ringo's was Ashlyn Wilburn. A lot of coaches are reluctant to play freshmen. She's in the rotation as a freshman. So what has she done to earn that?
We go into it saying it doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior. We're going to play the people that give us the best chance to win. And at Schreiner Volleyball, like, we have started freshmen every year because they have given us the opportunity to win. Ashlyn was not starting at the beginning of this year because she still had some things to learn. She was still coming from the high school aspect of things. She played a different position in club volleyball than right side, so she was still learning some stuff. But she has been able to come in and show, hey, I am actually this dynamic lefty that I can hit these different shots that other teams are not expecting. And she's in on that learning curve. But she's not the only one. Our other freshmen are doing a really good job. It's just we have depth, and depth is a wonderful thing. And so our freshman class has done a really good job. Ashlyn is just the one that's in the starting lineup right now, but the other freshmen are pushing her and pushing all the upperclassmen well.
We haven't mentioned Lauren Monaco and Riley Jones, who do a lot around the net. So what have you seen from them?
What a huge leap for both of them. I mean, Lauren is second in the conference in hitting percentage. She hit .571 this past weekend, but this started for her last year. When we went to the playoffs and we played Trinity in the first round, Trinity, Sweet 16 last year, she hit 600 against Trinity. She set the seeds in her freshman year to be successful this year. And Riley's done the same thing, is every single year she's improved something. And Lauren is more of your high energy, I'm going to pump everybody up, watch me do this. And Riley is more of your, like, I am steady, I'm going to do these things. And they're completely different players, but they both complement each other so well.
Are you having fun with this team? It just seems from the outside that you've got a lot of good chemistry on this team. They like each other.
This team likes each other.
Yeah.
This team is also, there's these random comments where, like, we did something this past weekend where there was a comment between me and the player. She asked me a question. I said yes. And it came through and the whole bench erupted. The line judge was laughing because he learned what's going on. It's when you have that looseness that you can have this conversation with somebody and it's like, it's not a personal thing. I'm trying to make you better.
Right.
This is what's going on. And then we can separate that and, hey, tell me about this. Tell me about your family, all this stuff. How's this going on? It allows us to be so much better and it allows you to play freer and looser. And this is a team that plays loose and doesn't panic.
You're fun to watch. I know that. I mean, I've done your home games, and it's fun to watch. And the goal, of course, is to make the tournament. Actually, the goal is to win the division, I would think, for you guys. I mean, that would be the goal. But to make the tournament, top 6 teams will make it, and you will host the tournament this year.
Right,
so a chance to play the tournament games at the event center here in Kerrville.
Yeah, that's huge for us. We're not looking there yet. We've gone segments this year, and so last week was let's go 3-0 this weekend. All right, now this week we've got 2 road games. Let's go 2-0 or let's put our best foot forward. And then we have a little bit of a break and then we've got 1 game. So our goal is still, we want to make that conference tournament, but it's not a spoken thing.
Yeah.
We've really segmented it into these small little chunks so that, hey, if we don't reach this goal, it's not the end. Okay, we didn't get this goal. What's our next goal? Let's move on. Let's get this. And so, but we are excited to host it. I think it's a huge advantage to be able to sleep in your own bed, to have family be able to come here easier than if we were, someplace else. So I think that's a huge advantage for us. And then playing in front of our home fans is just icing on the cake.
And that'll be November 14th and 15th at the event center. So the top teams in the conference will play 2 days of volleyball. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. So hope you'll be there on November 14th, 15th. Good luck the rest of the way. Thank you for talking with us. And we hope to sit down at some point and do it again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ted.
All right, Jeremiah Tiffin, volleyball coach here at Schreiner University. That is Sit Down with Ted. See you next time on the Schreiner Sports Network.
Here at Schreiner, we offer 4 different nursing programs. And we have our VN program, Vocational Nursing, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, RN to BSN online program, as well as our new Master's in Family Nurse Practitioner track program. We offer small class sizes. In the classroom itself, you'll never have more than 30 students. Here in the Sim Lab, we always have one instructor to 10 students, at least one instructor to 10 students, where those instructors are able to build relationships and cater to the unique needs of the students. We have a lot of hands-on practice here in the Skills Lab. This allows our students to feel more comfortable when they're entering the clinical setting and performing these skills on actual patients.
Back on the Schreiner Coaches Show here at Ringo's on the River. We've got a few more minutes, and I'd like to say everybody who is watching in the Lion's Den back on the Schreiner campus in the CCAC. Tim Leatherman has joined us now, graduate assistant coach on the Schreiner football team, getting set to go to Brownwood for a game on Monday against Howard Payne. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I know what a graduate assistant does, pretty much everything,
Yeah.
right?
A little bit, especially here.
What are your duties right now?
So right now I get my own position group. I coach the safeties, and then on top of that, we have morning weight checks, and then now we're doing class checks as well, and then we have laundry duty. And as well, we have to paint the field.
Laundry duty.
Laundry duty.
What is laundry duty like after a football practice?
Oh, man. I need to tell Coach Allen we need to get some more latex gloves for the laundry room.
More latex gloves, please. Amazon has those, delivery in one day. Where were you before you came to Schreiner?
So I just graduated from McMurray in Abilene. I graduated back in December.
Play football there?
Yes, sir.
American Southwest Conference is a tough conference, isn't it?
Yes, sir. We were there for my first 3 years, and then my senior year we were in the SCAC.
And you played Hardin-Simmons?
I played at McMurray.
But you played Hardin-Simmons?
Yes, sir.
That Abilene, my grandparents were in Abilene, so when I was a kid I spent a lot of time there, so I know all about
It's a pretty place. It's I always thought of it as like a bigger Kerrville. That's why I really chose to go out there.
Abilene's a bigger Kerrville. That's probably true. That Hardin-Simmons-McMurray rivalry is pretty good, isn't it?
It is. Every time we played them, I always noticed there was a change in our game. 3 out of the 4 times we played them, 2 times we went to overtime, and then the other time we lost by 3 points. So, I mean, it was always a tough fight, and it was one of my favorite games of the season.
When you think about Hardin-Simmons, nationally ranked, Mary Hardin-Baylor has been nationally ranked before. In fact, they've won 2 national championships. It's going to be a competitive conference when you start playing next year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, like I just told you, I played there in my first 3 years. Even outside of those 2, you got Howard Payne. They're always a scrappy team. ETBU, they're usually pretty good. And then, yeah, I think that's it. And then McMurray's joining back as well, and they're on the come up.
Yeah, this will be the last season for Schreiner in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. And they, along with McMurray, are going to go back to the American Southwest Conference. The Schreiner used to be in the American Southwest Conference, and so did McMurray. And so there'll be 6 teams in the American Southwest Conference next season. As we mentioned, football schedule's out. Austin College will be the first game early in September at Antler Stadium. Your thoughts on this team so far? You're undefeated. What are you seeing from this group?
I'm seeing, just from week 0 back in fall camp all the way to now, I've just seen a lot of growth. I mean, we deal with a lot of immaturity because we got a lot of young kids, and, we don't have the upperclassmen. But we got kids starting to figure out the difference between college football and when they just came from high school. So it's cool to see them starting to put the puzzle pieces together.
It's a big jump, isn't it?
It is.
Because you did that. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school in Ingram.
Okay. So you're from here?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Hill Country kid.
Yes.
It is a big jump because you've done that.
Yes.
From Ingram to college football, how big of an adjustment was that for you?
It was an eye-opener, for sure. I mean, I went to a 3A high school, so,
Yeah.
I was used to playing. I played every side of the ball, offense, defense, every facet of special teams. And then I just went on, when I went to college, I played just defense, and even that, the game is just so high-paced. And now you go from, playing teenagers going to play grown men. And I was in college at the time when COVID was still a thing. So I was going against like 23, 24, 25-year-olds.
What was your major?
I was a sport leadership and management.
Do you want to go into coaching, or what do you want to do with that?
I've kind of always known that I wanted to go into coaching. From early high school, just spending a lot of time around my coaches then, and then I did some early coaching with the younger kids while I was there.
Tim Leatherman, graduate assistant, has joined us. He's part of the Schreiner coaching staff. You've got coaches you can learn from here. This is Keith Allen, a lot of experience. Shane Hallmark, a lot of experience. David Jones, right here at Tybee, a lot of experience. What are you soaking up from them?
You a great point. I mean, I get a lot of experience. I always joke around with those guys, especially Coach Hallmark and Coach Jones, that they've been coaching longer than I've been alive.
Did you hear that? You've been alive longer than this kid, coaches. Okay, there you go.
But no, I think that's a huge blessing. It's a great opportunity to get to learn from guys who've been around the game.
Yeah, you've been alive longer than I've been alive longer than you too. So
you might have been doing this longer than I've been alive too.
Well, okay. Well, I've been in broadcasting 53 years now. Okay, that works. I was in the NBA for 37. You're not 37.
No, sir.
Okay, that works too. Dang. Hey, Tim, thanks for coming by. We appreciate it, and good luck Monday when you play at Howard Payne.
Yes, sir.
And get those uniforms clean.
Oh, for sure.
Get the grass stains out.
We got them soaked up in hydrogen peroxide, get the blood stains out. The grass stains on the other team's jerseys colors are a little hard to get out, but we're working on it.
All right, Tim, thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to be joined by Don Frazier, who runs the Texas Center here at Schreiner. We're going to talk a little Texas history to wrap up our coaches show here at Ringo's on the River in just a moment. Back after this on the Schreiner Sports Network.
With the explosion of the Texas wine industry, we at Schreiner University decided to do something about it. So we started a viticulture program called Vinos dos Colinas. With Vinos dos Colinas, we're providing an education basis around farming and viticulture sciences to allow you to advance your career in the world of grape growing. We're focusing on the practical skills needed to be a vineyard operator. So you'll learn things like irrigation, tractor maintenance, tractor operation, spraying, all the things that you need to know to operate and be a great labor force for the vineyard industry in Texas. At Schreiner University, we fully believe and are committed to helping people find careers and great opportunities.
And we're back at Ringo's on the River. We've got about 10 or 11 more minutes on this version of our coaches show, but we're going to expand outside of the athletic field, and I'm going to talk to Don Frazier, who runs the Texas Center at Schreiner University. And the Texas Center is all about, among other things, they're all about Texas history. And I am one of the more obnoxious Texans in that I am a native Texan, born and raised here. We're quick to let you know when we are a native Texan. Some of us even put bumper stickers on our car that say, I am a native Texan. Texas history is truly unique, isn't it?
And it's a full contact sport, so it's actually in keeping with the theme.
Yeah. It's really unique, though, isn't it?
It is. I mean, this is where so many different trends in the human story all meet and get together. And so it's an American story, it's a Mexican story, it's a native story, it's an everybody story. I mean,
and you're in the process of really becoming the go-to spot for Texas history, aren't you?
Well, we're certainly trying to be of service to as many people as we can.
What is the phrase, E pluribus Texas?
E pluribus Texas, out of many, one Texas.
You just start with the way it began with the settlers coming in, and it was a part of Mexico. Yep. And then, of course, we had the little tiff that led to the breakup.
A small tiff.
A small little tiff back in 1836. And then the siege at the Alamo, which has gone down in the annals of history as one of the great military battles of all time, even though it wasn't successful for the people that were there, but there have been movies made.
Well, we certainly remember it.
We certainly remember. There have been movies made about it. What is it about that just really stands out?
Well, you know, it all stands out. I mean, it depends on if you want to talk about the oil business. Without oil, you really don't have Texas. I mean, you got a big overstuffed Alabama. Yeah. So oil business is huge. The native story is huge. The interaction between Mexico and the American settlers, you know, there's so many great stories. And we've just recently released a 250 video series.
250 videos. 250
video series. Each one is 5 minutes long. That'll tell you the entire story of Texas from day 8 of Genesis to last Thursday.
Man, this is like a Michener novel.
It is.
You ever read a Michener novel?
Yeah.
He will start like I read Hawaii, and he started when the island was thrust out of the sea by the volcanoes, and then he goes on. So this is what you're doing, right?
Yeah, we start with plankton. And the reason we start with plankton is because plankton becomes biomass, which becomes oil. And so in order for those oil videos to make sense later on in the series, you got to know where oil comes from.
Yeah.
So.
And then after the Alamo, you have San Jacinto,
Sure.
which certainly solidified the Texas victory. And then we're the only country that were an independent nation for 10 years. So
yeah, and I'm not sure that we wanted to be an independent nation for 10 years.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of how it ended up playing out.
And then, because Mexico tried to take Texas back in 1846, we had another battle that we landed at Veracruz and went all the way to Mexico City. And out of that became Manifest Destiny.
Yep.
Because James Polk was president at the time, and he wanted it to be Atlantic to Pacific. And Mexico ceded Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. That's another huge part of history, not just Texas history, but national history.
Well, it's actually what starts the process that ends up sparking the American Civil War north of the Rio Grande,
Right.
and actually sparks the Civil War in Mexico, La Guerra de la Reforma,
And
War of the Reform.
Well, and we're talking to Don Frazier, who runs the Texas Center. Many of the people that fought for the U.S. Army were opposite each other just a few years later.
Correct.
Because you had North, South, and they both fought in the Mexican War.
Correct. And one of the great quips about that reality is Scott's army went from Veracruz to Mexico City, and it didn't take him but one campaign season.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, during the American Civil War, it took 4 years to go from Washington to Richmond.
Right.
So somebody asked Ulysses Grant, why is it taking you so long to take Richmond? It says, because the guys that got us to Mexico City are over there opposing us getting to Richmond. So,
And of course, out of that, we got Juneteenth, which is very much connected to Texas.
absolutely. I mean, Texas leads the way in so many ways. And Juneteenth is really kind of a second day of American independence. And it all starts down in Galveston and is another gift of Texas to the nation.
How did the whole space program begin in Texas? Because now NASA, of course, in Houston is a big part of the space program, and that's part of Texas history too.
It is. It's all part of the magic of LBJ. You know, they had to have a headquarters somewhere, and LBJ said, let's have it in Texas.
Was he one of the more, how shall I put this, colorful characters in Texas political history?
In a history full of colorful characters, he was certainly one of the most colorful.
Yeah. You know, you think back to when John Kennedy said, we're going to get to the moon by the end of the decade. That speech was delivered at Rice University, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And, you know, one of the things that was really a critical consideration in bringing the Space Center to Texas was the fact that Rice at that time was still segregated.
Okay.
And as a result, they were ineligible for any sort of federal programs.
Okay.
And so they had a trustee come before the other trustees and say, look, we're going to have to rewrite the charter of this school and integrate. And their lawyer, university lawyer, made the speech and said, look, Rice University stands at a crossroads. We can either go to the moon or we can return to the 19th century.
Yeah.
Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And so Rice decided to integrate, and the rest is history.
Don Frazier of the Texas Center has joined us here at the end of our coaches show. High tech has come to Texas too.
It has come to Texas.
When you think about Dell Computers in Austin.
Sure.
And then what Elon Musk is doing.
Yep.
I mean, Elon Musk is catching rockets out of the air.
Yeah.
We were down in South Padre this summer.
Did you watch any of the launches?
Well, we didn't. Well, we saw a test.
Okay.
Because we could see SpaceX from where we were staying on the southern part of Padre Island. We decided to drive over there just to see what it was. And there's no direct route from South Padre. You have to go up and then around to the Boca Chica Road. And we're driving along, and we're thinking, okay, you know, we could see it coming up. And we kept thinking, okay, there's going to be a gate or something that we can't go any further. There's a public beach at the end of that road, the Boca Chica Beach. And so they have to keep the road open. You can pull right up next to the launch site. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, there was a lot of damage the first time people started doing that. So people have learned to keep their distance.
Well, and the road is only closed when they have a launch. But now what's happening is, and my wife and I are going to do this, people go down there to watch. I know a guy that I work with for high school games. He was down there this past weekend to watch a launch. This has become a tourist thing.
That was a big launch, too. I mean, that Super Heavy got the Starship up in the air. That was impressive.
Yeah, and so that he's not only doing that, but he built a Tesla center in Austin?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's just crazy when you go by that big manufacturing facility.
And I would think with artificial intelligence about to take over, Texas has got to be in on that at some point, don't you think?
Oh, if you go up to Abilene, in fact, when we start playing McMurray regular, I would do a little field trip over to 2 different locations in Abilene. One is the lab over at ACU where they're coming up with next generation nuclear. Okay. And that's, Texas is leading the way in power generation, next generation nuclear. Set aside the oil business, that's the future right there. Then just outside of town to the northwest is one of the largest AI facilities under construction on the planet. I mean, it is vast. And so Abilene is going to be an AI and next generation nuclear center that'll help Texas lead the nation.
AI may be the next oil boom, won't it?
It may be. It's funny, AI is not going to be as employee intensive as, say, the oil patch.
Yeah.
Because it's not a whole lot of hands-on. Once you get it fired up and going, it kind of runs. And so you have to keep it cool, you have to keep it serviced, but you don't have a long assembly line full of people.
Yeah.
So that's going to be one interesting aspect of it.
Don Frazier of the Texas Center is here. My dad grew up in Eastland, Texas.
Say again?
Eastland, Texas.
Yeah,
Eastland. Where he was there when the oil boom was going on.
Sure.
As a kid, and so he saw that town go from a little bitty town to, I don't know, 50,000.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yep.
Do you know the story of Old Rip?
Oh, Old Rip the Horny Toad.
My dad swears he was there that day. I have a picture where my dad's in the picture when they're digging Old Rip out of the ground.
No fooling.
And I'll show you that sometime.
Yeah, have you seen him up there all petrified in the glass case?
My dad is 14 at the time. He's wearing a beret.
Yeah.
And he swears that the old horned frog breathed again. He swears that. What do you think?
I'm skeptical. I think somebody was shining the out-of-towners on that day.
They got a whole museum there, though, about Old Rip.
Yeah, it's in the courthouse. You can go by and he's got a little casket and a little dead horned frog.
Yeah.
Now, as a TCU grad, that pains my heart to see a dead horned frog.
I was once play-by-play guy for TCU, so I did some horned frog games too. Yeah, we have a whole legend about a dead horned frog in Texas. Yeah, we are different. Hey, Don, thanks.
You bet.
Appreciate it. Look, I'd like to talk to you again sometime. Let's do a sit-down.
Any old time.
I could talk Texas history for another hour or so.
Yeah, me too, as it turns out.
Don, thank you. How much time do we have left, Jared? Jared, how much time do we have left? 1 minute. All right. Let me tell you about the coming week. Tuesday night, we've got a volleyball game. It's a non-conference game. They'll take on Houston Tillotson at the Event Center. And then this weekend, soccer is on the road at Concordia. The men will play on Friday in Concordia, so will the women. The soccer team, men and women, will play at Texas Lutheran on Sunday. Don't forget, before you know it, basketball will be underway. November 7th is the first basketball games for men and women. They'll play at Howard Payne. The women will have their first home game November 21st against Sul Ross. The men will have their home opener on the 25th against McMurray. We will have the streaming broadcast of the volleyball game on Tuesday night from the Event Center right here at SchreinerMountaineers.com. Thanks to Jared Hyman. Thanks to Michael Bennett. Thanks to everybody who appeared. Don, appreciate your appearance. My name is Ted Davis from Ringo's. We'll see you next week on the Schreiner Sports Network.
Let me tell you, here at Schreiner, one of the things we bring to the table are those smaller classrooms. The ability for the professors and the instructors to get to know you personally, understand how you learn, and work with you to get you through these programs and make you a professional. One of the things I tell every freshman class is airlines do not hire co-pilots. They do not hire pilots. They hire future captains. And that's what we strive to do here at Schreiner, is arm you with the capabilities to go out someday and be the captain of an airliner, the captain of a corporate jet, ready to make the tough decisions and lead your flight to